G'day everyone, it's People with a Passion, Craig Rowe here with special guest today, Jake Welch, Jake from Jake Lee Studios. Tell us about Jake Lee Studios, Jake.
Basically, Jake Lee Studio for me is everything that I do. I have a passion for art, entertainment, creativity. So Jake Lee Studio is the overarching idea and concept. Underneath that comes Jake Lee Music, which is me playing instruments and performing and entertaining people. But mostly Jake Lee Studio is about my artwork and being creative.
A bit of a backstory is you and I went to school together.
Yes, we did.
So I remember what I remember of Jacob Welch, who is Jake Lee Studios now. What I remember of Jacob Welch is actually the art.
In terms of art at school, that was my escape.
Mm-hmm.
I was, as you would know, I was new to the school that we went to, so didn't know anyone else. I'd come from interstate, moved to Queensland, went to the same school, and art for me was an escape.
Mm-hmm.
Escape from having to deal with people that I didn't know, relationships that I wasn't sure about. Now, obviously being a teenager at the same time, there's plenty of things going on in any teenager's head.
Yeah.
And that was just as true for me as it is for anybody else. So, so my passion at that time was just doing everything I possibly could in terms of drawing, painting, sculpting, creating things.
Let's grab one of the items. We're probably speaking in suspense. Just grab something. Thinking, what the hell are they talking about on this artwork? And we're not seeing anything.
We'll grab a shoe. There you go. Right. There's a shoe.
So there's a shoe. We'll have a look.
And that's just a simple standard vinyl shoe. $10 from Kmart.
So, and what we've got here is who's that?
Bit of Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Bit of Iron Man.
And
bit of Avengers action on the shoe.
Now, if you want to look at these shoes, there's more than one shoe. This is just one example.
Of course.
There's a number of shoes up on your Facebook page,
Absolutely.
Which is Jake Lee Studios. That is the Facebook page,
That's the one.
Yeah. So I'll put links in the video. Yeah, I know.
I'm going to leave that there.
Yeah, no, I like that. I actually saw that on your Facebook before our interview. So very three-dimensional looking, very smart. Have you got another item there, another shoe? Let's talk. So you got shoes. You got some down there. We'll add those. We've got some photos we'll show.
Cool.
So that's the brand, Jaywalk.
That's me.
That's you. Let's grab one of these hats.
All right. Okay. So Craig asked me to bring a selection of things with me. Now I've got a whole bunch of shoes down there. We've seen the shoes. You can see them on my Facebook page or on my Instagram. That's fine. Hats is what I love doing. I'm a big hat wearer.
Yes.
I feel ridiculous not wearing a hat with these headphones on.
I had to take it off because it was reflective. Actually, show that hat. You can show the hat.
There we go.
So I had to I forced him into...
he made me take it off.
I made him take it off because it's highly reflective. We've got lights here in the studio. So, but it just goes to show he's got a variety of approaches. I'll pass that back to you. But that's what... Jaywalker arrived in.
That's what I turned up in, yeah.
And I almost got into a fight with him over taking it off. I think you would have taken any other item of clothing off but the hat. But
yeah, you got a little bit too passionate about that one.
I think so too. So
caps. It's what I love doing. Look, a lot of the stuff that I do is pop culture. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of anime, manga, Japanese comics, cartoons influence. That's because that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I love, and that entertains me. Even as a kid, certainly as a teenager, as a young adult, and certainly now into my 40s, I still love being entertained by what other people can do.
You didn't tell me you were going to bring some X-rated stuff, mate.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. I think
the next one's gonna blow your mind, mate.
So we'll move that one out of the way. But these are all up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, they certainly are.
And you can buy through there. You can actually go and see the pricing and connect with you. You also do customs. So that is the Jaywalk Customs.
Right. Everything that I do is unique and customised.
I'll pass that back to you to pop down. So we'll pop those out of the way as we go. Now this one. So this one.
Again inspired by anime manga. There's a particular cartoon manga that's called the Ninja Scroll. I'm a big fan of Ninja Scroll. So these are all the characters from the Ninja Scroll.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it there in the camera.
Oh, cool.
But I can sort of zoom in a little bit. Yeah. So that's certainly pretty good. So explain, as you're saying, so you're into the manga?
Yeah, I love anime, I love manga, I love cartoons. Look, growing up as a kid, who didn't love watching cartoons on a Saturday morning? You know, that was the go.
I feel like it's I'm looking at who's next.
Pete Griffin.
There we go.
Pete Griffin playing Han Solo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was at one of their episodes.
That's right. That's the one they did, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I can't call myself a Star Wars fan, and I am a Star Wars fan. I can't call myself a Star Wars fan if I didn't do something like that.
That's Family Guy.
There's nothing wrong with being irreverent in this day and age. Nothing wrong at all.
Yeah, no.
In terms of the Jaywalk custom stuff, you asked me a question about where do I get all this inspiration? Where do I get this passion from? Look, it's simply, and we talked earlier off camera about escapism in terms of I'm an avid reader. Obviously, I love to create things as well. Mm-hmm. I get a lot of my inspiration from the things that I read, but I also get a lot of inspiration from the things that I watch. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm entertained by anime and manga because it's a totally foreign country, you know, in Japan. Just it's their spin on the world, how mm-hmm. they see what's our future going to be like. Mm-hmm. What are people like right now? How do we interact with each other? What's the dynamic between one person and the next person? This character represents this scope of people in the world, whatever. Mm-hmm.
See, I never looked at it like that. That just goes to show how ignorant I am. on
Ignorance is bliss sometimes, mate. It really is.
Anime. It's just exposing a whole world that I don't know about.
Ah, right. Well, here's the thing. I made a journey back in 2010. I went to Japan for 3 months, and I went to all the places that used to do all this. They're all creative houses. They're anime houses and manga houses, like art studios, basically. Yes. And I just went around to all the major studios that were over there and just soaked it all in, because it was just, this was me growing up. This was me formulating my opinions of the world. Now, people might sort of say, oh, they're just movies, they're just cartoons, but they have an impact.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see that in modern movies these days. What are kids passionate about? Well, what's the latest Marvel movie that they've seen?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it still has an impact, even doesn't matter what age you are. Mm-hmm. As I explained to you before, I don't watch television. So watching movies and films of any generation and any ilk is something that I'm passionate about, because that gives me inspiration to do what I do.
Yes. So your inspiration would be endless then, pretty much.
Really every day. The sun comes up, sun goes down. But it's what you do in between that time. You know, now I'm a night owl, so I work best at night. That's where I feel most comfortable. It's quiet. It's peaceful.
You were prepared to come in and do the interview at midnight.
Mate, I was. I would have.
I was like, okay, I've got to sleep at some stage. Well, see, it's the life of an artist.
That's the thing. While the rest of the world is sleeping, I'm busy working. My day usually starts at 3 in the afternoon and continues till 3 or 4 in the morning.
Why do you think that's important to you to create your work at that time? Because you could choose daytime and daylight.
Of course.
But is there some attraction to working when the world's asleep and quiet?
Yeah, look, as I said before, I think a lot of it's to do with the fact that you don't get interrupted generally at night. You know, if people are calling you or texting you or trying to get in contact with you, that's generally during the hours of 9 to 5, you know, which is business hours, which is what most people operate under.
Yeah. So you're avoiding distraction.
Yeah.
So you're a deep worker. So you literally want to lock yourself away from the world. So your choice is actually to work in those periods.
Yep.
Let's take it back a notch to talk about the inspiration of, you haven't been doing this forever. You said it's 2.5 years. No. So, and you've been a teacher, you've been a pastor, pastor,
a minister, yep.
And this evolution, you've left that field of education, and you decided upon pursuing the art. What was the motivation behind pursuing that? And you fell into it, as a lot of people do with their passion. Yeah. Explain the journey and the story.
Look, the journey is really simple. We spoke earlier about my prowess and in terms of my time spent doing art at school. When I left school, I had a choice. Obviously, I could continue to pursue an artistic career, but that didn't interest me at the time, because I knew that wasn't going to sustain me for long enough, or even provide me with an avenue, a as soon as I'd left school in terms of employment.
What did you do as a teacher? What subjects were you teaching?
Well, I was a visual art teacher.
Yeah,
so,
just checking.
Yeah,
it could have been a deviation.
So I kept some of those passions and the core of who I was at the time.
Did you feel that was challenging to impart your creativity to others, or do you think that being a creative space, you just have to let people flourish in that space?
I learnt a lot in my first year of teaching, and I learnt a lot about myself as an artist, but I learnt more about how to teach other people.
Yeah.
To be inspired by things around them, to be able to produce art, to be able to be creative, to find that within themselves. Now, I've been a long-term believer in that everyone has a creative centre in themselves.
Yeah.
It's whether or not you choose to pursue it, and that's a choice.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty simple choice sometimes, but most of the time it's a hard choice.
Do you think it's fear of failure that in the arts, there's a lot of people that are too scared of what other people think?
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. But I don't know if I'd term it as fear of failure, because art is about failure. I've been an artist, as I said before, probably since as long back as I can remember. 5 or 6 years old, I was drawing and painting, and I loved it, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah.
I have a fear every single time I do something that it's not going to work out how I want it to. But it's at about that time that you remember, no, I have these skills. I've been doing this long enough. I'm passionate enough about it that I want to be able to produce something that's worthy of my talent, my skill, that's quality, that people kind of go, oh, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. Now, I don't do it for the accolades.
Yeah.
I don't do it for money. I do now, but
the point is it's secondary. You're doing it. Yeah. You would still do it regardless of whether the money was there.
Now, as I said before, and I started this whole conversation with art is about failure. That is all art is. Art is a series of thousands of hours of failures before you go, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like...
Do you think in today's generation that takes a lot of patience? Do you think it's that you
today's generation is instant gratification, so failure is not part of that.
Yeah,
that mix of I need this now, I want this now, I have to have this now.
Yeah,
you can't create something in a moment, in an instant.
There was something I saw years ago that was just a statement. It's a title of a book, I believe, that says 10 years to overnight success, and for most artists, and whether they be musicians, comedians, actors, a lot of them, people just see them appear out of nowhere and think that it was just they just
flash
become
in a pan.
successful. Yeah. But the truth is it's a journey, and you might not know the future of what you're doing here. At the moment, it is just Jake Lee Studios at the markets, getting not only stuff you already produced, but people commissioning work. So that's something I need to emphasise is you do commission work. You do portraits.
Absolutely.
You do some interesting portraits. We've got a couple that you've got of some friends of yours. So you have some fun with those portraits too. It's not just, you could do a serious portrait, but on the flip side, you can do something where you almost make them like they were in a movie or something like that, and share an experience they may never have that is a talking point where they display it in their bar or their home, or it could be a birthday gift. It could be something as an award for someone that's worked or something. So when you do that process, how's that work? Do they give you a photo of the person?
Generally what happens is, I'll say, all right, you want a portrait done. So, look, just send me a range of images of whoever I'm doing this portrait of. Let's say it's you. You would send me 5 or 6 photos of yourself.
Yeah.
Now, they don't all have to be happy, smiley photos.
Yes.
Okay? They can be in different poses and different arrangements.
Is that to give you a sense of all the features?
Absolutely. Yeah, because, look, with portraiture, it's not as simple as... and I've done live portraiture before. Most of the time, what I do is static, so it's people sending me an image, and I'll just take those away, and I'll create something from the images that they've sent me.
So just to explain, because I'm not an artist, but live portraiture, is that where I would sit and
you would do a sitting?
Come in for sessions?
Yeah, you'd do a sitting for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
If you can keep still for long enough.
Can't keep my. Do I get to talk?
No, look, you can talk. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, 5 hours isn't a problem. Yeah. Let's come back to some artwork.
Cool.
Now, It's what you're here for.
Sure.
Now, you got some really good Doc Martens here. I've got the shoe right, haven't I?
You have.
All right, do you want to give us a look and
Sweet, why not?
Throw it up?
All right.
I'll see what we can see here. So, what do we got there?
Okay, well, this is a tribute to one of the greatest manga of all time. It's called Akira. It was 1988 in Japan. I was doing some browsing at DFO here in Brisbane. Saw a bin full of shoes.
Chuck us the other one there.
Saw a bin full of shoes, and this is what I found. I found these for like $30 or something, and I went, "That's fantastic. Got to have them." Took it home, had a bit of a think about it, and it's the same process that I use in terms of I've got a shoe. It's red. What visually works with this shoe? And this is what I came up with. So
yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no, it's
and they're pretty comfy shoes too.
Yeah, you wear. I noticed. I said you're wearing a pair of your own artwork.
I have to.
And I said, nice shoes. Where'd you get those? What else have you got there?
Okay, we've got a bit of a.
So you started to do some 3D stuff. So that's got some foam and things on it. So you've gone from just being the art directly painted onto the canvas, and I'll flip this around. Give them a little bit of a look.
Yeah, cool.
So you've gone on this side, you've got some 3D artwork there on the shoe.
Yep.
So you want to speak to...
Okay, essentially, with the 3D stuff, look, it's been a process in terms of being able to work out how best to use materials. I came across a great substance called EVA foam, really easy to work with. And as you said, it makes things stand out visually. Now, the process behind it was really, really easy, but at the same time involved, and it's been an evolution. I started doing it on caps first. That seemed to work okay. I thought, look, I could probably do this on some shoes, but I've just got to work out the logistics of how do I do it. Most of the time, it's walking away works really, really well.
Yeah.
Because it gives you an opportunity to clear the head.
Yeah.
You come back to it half an hour later, and you go, right, that's exactly what I need to be able to do. Now, I can't explain that process because most of the time I don't know if I've got a blank pair of shoes. Okay, what's going to happen with these ones? But I want to do something that's unique and different.
Yeah.
So
these are one-offs.
Absolutely one-offs.
So if someone loves this genre or the anime or manga or whatever it may be, they literally can ask you to produce something for them under a contract.
Yep.
They might be a fan of, or they can purchase stuff from your Facebook shop.
Yep.
You actually have pricing up there if they like something and go browse through your Facebook.
Everything that I put up on my Facebook page, and especially on the shop, is obviously for sale.
Yes.
Now, the issue becomes whether they're going to fit their feet.
Yeah, but some people want to display them to you. You like them. You like them to wear them because they're a talking point.
Yeah.
They're a bubbler moment or water cooler moment, as they say, or they're remarkable. Something people will comment on, and yours do stand out. I can't get you to put your feet up, but as you're walking in earlier, I'm like, put your feet up, mate. You walked in, and I said they look great.
Look, and there's a brief that I give customers and potential clients every time, and I do this at my market store, and I do it certainly when I'm having discussions with people, and it's very, very simple. I'm like, look, there's two ways of going about this process. Do you want to wear them, or do you want to display them?
Yeah.
As soon as they say, oh, I just want to display them, then the creative process amps up. I can pretty much do anything that I like because I know that they're not going to be worn, so they're not going to get broken, cracked.
So the 3D stuff, potentially you could lose, like you've got some gems here on the...
Look.
So you could lose the
bling. I'd be slightly worried if they fell apart.
Yeah.
Because the product testing that I do is very extensive, and I've been doing it since the day I first started doing shoes, all right?
If you were a younger person back when you were 15, what advice would you give to yourself? You often hear that, like looking at your journey. You hear people ask, what advice would you give to
my younger self?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think we spoke earlier about when you have an idea of what you want to do, how do you go about achieving it? How do you even start? I was in the same position in my early 40s. where it was, well, I need to find something to do. I need to find something to engage myself, to make use of the skills that I've learnt over the course of time.
Do you want to speak to that journey? Because there's a little bit of darkness in your history or bad experience. So do you want to just speak to that? Because that has come to define you in this now.
Yeah, I guess it has, in a sense. Look, when you spiral downwards, for whatever reason, now, we spoke earlier about suffering from depression. I was diagnosed with clinical depression 10 years ago. My world spiraled out of control. I lost things that were close to me through my own choices and my own actions. Had to take responsibility for those things. How do you even start to take responsibility for that, to rebuild yourself? Now, for me personally, it was difficult because for 3 years of my first 3 years of clinical depression, I was under medication, very strong medication, and that never sat well with me. Even when I was on the medication, it was just like, look, I know this is supposed to help me, but I don't feel that it is. I feel
you described that you felt like you were in a fog for a year.
Yeah, just there's a whole year of my life that's sketchy on details. Now, I know myself well enough to know that if that's a gap in my life that I don't remember, that worries me, and it has worried me for quite a long time. But the only way to get yourself out of that downward spiral is to start looking at everything simply. Now, if you want to try and encourage someone to pursue their passion, to follow their dream, again, you've got to start basics. What simply can I do to change today? What can I do to change the next hour? What can I do to change my environment? How do I work? What do I want to do? All of those questions come down to just making a choice. If you're not ready to make the choice, then that's what will happen. You won't make a choice. You'll stagnate.
So your negative experience or your depressive experience has led you on a journey that made you question, I guess, what next? And
on a daily basis too. If you understand anything about depression, it makes you feel hopeless and helpless. All right? And those are the two frameworks that even psychiatrists and psychologists will tell you. That's where you're at. Most of the time you feel helpless. How do I help myself? How do I get out of this situation? And fast approaching that helplessness is hopelessness. I don't know what to do. How do I change this situation? I don't have the skills. I don't have the tools. I don't even have a plan to get out of this. And for me, I found myself in that situation where I didn't know what choices were the best choices for me.
So how do you get out of that state? How do you get out of that rut? What shook you out of that, or took all your strength and energy to decide things had to change?
Well, I think it was just a lot of quiet, peace, trying to find solitude. Time that I could think, and I mean that in terms of time that I could think about myself. And think about the impact that the choices that I made had on me. Now, one thing that I have learnt about life is that you learn just as much from grief and loss as you do from happiness and joy. And in point of fact, you probably learn more from grief and loss because it takes longer to get through that process. Whereas if, let's say, you're having a fantastic time with the love of your life and you're like, I'm happy all the time, I'm happy. You don't learn anything, you don't learn enough from that to give you any tools or skills that are going to help you when it's not so happy. Or when you're in adversity, or when you've got choices to make, whether it be financial, relationships, family problem, whatever it is, medical health problems. When you're faced with life-altering choices, sometimes it's really, really important to step back to take stock, to go, okay, if I wasn't in this situation, what would I do? Now, what became apparent to me at the time was I was spending too much time worrying about all the what-ifs.
Yeah.
And this is how I framed it for myself so that it was easier for me to understand. There's a tree. The tree is your life, okay? Obviously, in the tree, there are branches. They're all the different paths that you can take in life, okay? At the end of those branches are leaves. They're all the what-ifs.
Yes.
They're all the maybes and, if I did this or if I did that or maybe I could try that or maybe that's an option for me there. Sometimes you've got to stand at the base of your own tree and just shake it so that all those what-ifs disappear.
Okay.
The path becomes a lot clearer for you then when you can see where those branches go.
Okay.
The visualization stuff is for me, it's important. And it comes back to the core of why I'm here and what I do.
Yeah.
As an artist, being able to visually reinterpret, recreate, or even just interpret information visually. If I didn't have eyes, how would I do that?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of the time, Craig, it's simply that if I didn't have some of the senses that I have, which is all of them, how would I go about doing what I do? Now, I've spent a lot of time with a lot of different people who have been blind, who have been deaf, who don't have hands, and talking to them about how do you perceive the world around you with the loss of a sense.
Yeah.
And the way that most people do it is internally, visualizing internally. These are the things that I need to put in place for myself. So for me, it was a really, really easy step to go, all right, look, these are all the issues that I have in my life. These are all the paths and options that I have in front of me. How do I make a choice that's going to work for me? So for me, it was the visual, that's a tree, that's all my choices, give it a shake, all that stuff falls away, that path is now clear for me. I can make that choice. I can justify making that choice.
That's right. We'll pop those away.
Sweet, mate.
We'll talk about a couple of the hats. So we'll go these last... All right, we'll go these last couple of hats you've got here. So I'll let you explain them. I'll try and hold them up. So
this first one, this is an ode to another famous manga, but at the same time, it was recently made into a movie called Battle Angel Alita. I just wanted to do something that was kind of had a bit of femininity about it.
You've got the 3D stuff happening on
the got a bit more foam happening on there, and hopefully the quality of it appeals to people. I've already had a few offers to buy that one.
Okay.
All from women, which has been fantastic, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, and you also got some glitter on there.
Yeah, just a bit of bling. Bit of bling, mate.
Yeah. That's a little bit, again, another different one. Now,
chicks like their bling.
Now, this is interesting, because you've lined up the eyes with the...
with the holes in the
yeah. And you know what? I saw that before, and I actually didn't notice that you'd done it, but was that an accident?
Complete artistic accident. I'll take it and I'll claim it. But
you must have seen that at some point, though, yourself after you've done it.
Yeah. Look,
it adds to it
with the caps. With the caps, essentially, what I'll do is I'll just do a quick watercolor pencil sketch. On the cap. And then I'll basically just paint over in terms of the fabric paints over the top of it. So it gives me kind of a clearer idea of what I want to do, and how I want to go about achieving it. So
now this next one that we've got here,
one of my favourites.
Yeah, this next one that I've got here, this is pretty impressive.
One of my favourites.
It's got a lot of detail in there. I should be showing up for the audience, but Wonder Woman.
Well, that was I did that one when the Wonder Woman movie came out. I'm a big fan of Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman. But I reckon she did a pretty good job in this latest iteration. And yeah, again, I just wanted to do something that was just a little bit different. And I guess with most of my stuff, Craig, it's all one-off stuff. So it's all unique stuff. So I don't repeat myself. And that adds to I guess the appeal to people artistically.
Yes.
That they know that they've got a one of something. No one else is going to have this. And that's what I explain to people every time they come to me and they're like, we'd like to get this made. I'm like, well, you realise that if I've already got something that I've done, I'm not going to do it again.
Sure.
So if I want to be specific to what you want, then just supply me with some images.
Yes.
Of what you like.
Yeah.
Visually. And that, I guess that's that whole, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and everyone wants something that's just for them. And this is kind of why I got into what I'm doing. Yeah. I found that there was a niche in a market.
Yeah.
A little gap that I could slot myself into.
Now, you've fallen into this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Explain a little bit of the backstory of what happened that made you say, hey, I can do this.
Okay. I got sent just a random image from family member. Just sent me a picture of a pair of shoes that were like Dragon Ball Z shoes that someone had just painted up and
they probably weren't sharing with you. They were probably sharing because they knew you were interested in the content, not what it was painted on.
Yeah, I think so.
You've seen past the image and said, bloody hell, I can do that.
Yeah, I think so. Because at that stage I hadn't even considered painting on shoes. I'd never even thought of it before. Well, I've painted a bus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And not just any bus, a London double-decker bus.
Okay. We'll throw that up on screen so people can have a look at that while we're talking.
Yep. Nice. The only London double-decker bus in Queensland.
Oh, okay.
And it's the tallest bus in Australia at 4.4 metres high.
Yeah.
It's a I've got to get this right, otherwise he's going to kill me. It's a 1960 Leyland Atlantean London double-decker bus.
Okay. When did you do that?
That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, just before I started doing this business. I've known the owner for over 20 years. He and I are good mates. He used to be an air traffic controller of all things, and he went, I just want a change of scenery. So he had this vision of buying a London double-decker bus and turning it into a coffee shop, a mobile coffee shop.
Oh, okay.
So that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. So it's still functioning today. Everyone can see it.
It's located at Old Petrie Town.
Ah, okay.
So just down the road.
So that's one of the markets that you're at.
Yeah.
So you do a couple of markets. That's one of the main ones?
I do kombucha markets once a month.
Yes.
On Sundays, and I do Old Petrie Town every other day. Every other weekend, sorry. So Sundays. So that's pretty much my main day.
And then obviously available online through Facebook. Do you have anything else available online anywhere else, or is it just through the Facebook page?
No, just through the Facebook page. I have my Instagram account. Again, Jake Lee Studio, Instagram. Nice. That's all you need to look for.
I'll put links in the description for those that want to find it. I'll make sure that I link everything. I think we'll finish up there, but I just want to say thank you very much for coming in and sharing your passion with us and our audience. And if you've got a passion that you'd like to share with the rest of the world, then why not connect with us on our Facebook page via message, and we'll maybe connect. We can also connect over Skype and do Skype interviews as well as live in our studio. I want to say thanks for your time. Don't forget, if you like the content, like it. If you've got any comments or need to know anything further, you can comment in the section below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Catch you later. Thanks for taking time to watch this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button and also hit the bell button to get notified when new interviews are uploaded. Once again, thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again sometime. Catch you later.